Hi, my name is Kyle Clower and I'm with Serve Wisconsin. We are the Wisconsin National Community Service Board. We work the AmeriCorps programs in Wisconsin and strive to promote national service and volunteerism throughout the state. We're so very pleased to be sponsoring the Governor's Service Awards again this year, and we're interviewing all this year's honorees. And today we're talking with Spencer Bonney, the Executive Director of Achieve Brown County, which is being honored as AmeriCorps VISTA Program of the Year. And so Spencer, how are you doing today?
I am well, Kyle. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being with us today, and congratulations to everybody at Achieve Brown County.
Thank you. We're very honored.
And then Spencer, could you start off by telling us a little bit about the service that the AmeriCorps VISTA members do with Achieve Brown County?
Absolutely. So let me first tell you about Achieve Brown County as an organization. We are what we call ourselves a backbone organization for community-led collective impact, focused on advancing positive cradle-to-career outcomes for young people. So what that means is we convene, facilitate, and support the work of businesses, nonprofit organizations, educational institutions, government agencies, and individual community leaders and members to create a truly equitable Brown County in which all young people have exactly what they need to succeed in school, work, and life. So ultimately, we are trying to help young people throughout our county realize their full potential by advancing positive cradle-to-career outcomes. Our AmeriCorps Vistas are 50% of our team. So we have a small team to do all of this work. And in their work with us, we not only create for them opportunities to serve our community through our work, but to actually lead our work with our many partners across the community. So we put them in positions to convene, facilitate, and support the work of our partners, particularly through leading what we call action teams and doing things like community engagement and the research and analysis of data. So they play a really large part in advancing the work of our organization and are a huge part of our success. We would not be able to do what we have done and are currently doing but for our AmeriCorps Vistas. They truly are absolutely instrumental to our success as an organization.
That's great. And then could you tell us about some of the highlights from the service from your AmeriCorps VISTA group over this past year?
Absolutely. So this past year, had a cohort of 5 AmeriCorps Vistas. The first thing I would tell you about them is that they were a pretty special group before they even came to us from a number of different perspectives. First of all, this cohort was the most diverse cohort we've ever had from a number of standpoints, including their gender diversity, their racial diversity, and the diversity reflected in their backgrounds and experiences, as well as who they are as human beings. We were really excited to bring this cohort on board for all of those reasons. This cohort did a lot of great work for us in their time with us, including helping us to launch 4 new collaborative action teams, 2 towards the start of the year, but an additional 2 towards the end of their service year as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. So we asked them to play a huge role in launching these 4 new teams. In addition, they also had to pivot with us, just like every other organization across the state and the country, when the COVID-19 pandemic hit. So like those other organizations, we had to pause our existing work and truly take stock of how can we continue to move our work forward, if not do something differently that's going to continue to make a meaningful impact, not just on the work of our partners, but in the lives of young people in our community. They embraced that challenge wholeheartedly and helped us to do some amazing things in the last few months that they were with us, not just in launching 2 new action teams in direct response to the pandemic, but also helping us to create a COVID-19 resource and response map that really served as the vehicle for helping us to identify how our partners across the community were responding to the pandemic and all of the needs in our community that needed to be addressed. So those 2 action teams that rose out of the pandemic were very much a result of our Vistas contributing to helping us to identify the most pressing needs in our community, and then convening and facilitating these teams to address those needs. So again, they were significantly challenged, as were all of us, by the pandemic, but they rose to that challenge and went with it and helped us to do some absolutely amazing things in the last few months of their service with us.
That's great. And I know that you're trying to work to achieve a more equitable Brown County. So what are some of the impacts you've been able to see from the service your AmeriCorps VISTA members have been doing?
So our VISTAs not only have contributed to process outcomes like creating the new action teams and making sure they're on strong footing to do the work, but they've also helped us to advance our big picture outcomes. So all of our work is structured around 6 different outcome areas from cradle to career, beginning with kindergarten readiness and going to high school graduation, post-secondary enrollment, post-secondary completion, workforce development, and ultimately civic engagement. Right now, we're heavily invested in work on the front end of that outcomes continuum in the kindergarten readiness space, in the high school graduation space, and in the post-secondary enrollment space. Again, not only did they help us to continue to advance the work of our action teams in each of those 3 spaces and create new teams to advance outcomes in each of those 3 spaces, they also played a direct role in us seeing gains in outcomes in each of those 3 areas. So every year we annually measure how well our community is doing in advancing positive outcomes in each of those 3 spaces. And for the past 3 years, we've seen gains, including this past VISTA service year. So what we can say is that our VISTAs in their work in contributing to and leading some of these action teams played a significant role in helping our partners to advance these outcomes. We can't lay complete claim to advancing these outcomes on our own. It's really the result of what our partners do. But again, we as an organization, and in particular our VISTAs, play a key role in convening, facilitating, and supporting the work of our partners to advance these outcomes. So we saw multiple percentage point gains in those 3 areas that I mentioned: kindergarten readiness, high school graduation, and post-secondary enrollment. So it is fair to say that our VISTAs, as a result of, again, their great contributions and leadership of the teams that are really working to support our partners and how they advance these outcomes, played a huge role in continuing the trend and making sure that throughout our entire community, we're continuing to see big picture gains in each of those 3 areas.
That's wonderful. And then could you tell us a little more about the different action teams that the VISTA members are working with?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll go from the very beginning to where we are today. One of the very first teams that we launched 6 years ago is a team that is focused on developing and implementing a standardized system of developmental screening for children ages birth to 5. So it's really focused on kindergarten readiness. In this case, we are partnering with all 3 healthcare systems in our county, along with the county's birth to 3 program, to ensure that as many kids as possible, ultimately all kids, we hope, in that age range, receive the same developmental screening tool on an annual basis. It's called the Ages and Stages Questionnaire. And for those kids that, based on the results of that assessment, are identified as needing additional support, they are referred to the county's birth to 3 program so that that program could provide them and their families with the support that they need in order to help those kids either get back on track or remain on track in their kindergarten readiness and their development to be ready for kindergarten. So that's one of our teams. Another one of our teams is focused on developing and implementing a standardized system of mentoring supports for middle and high school students that are identified as most at risk by the dropout early warning system, the state DEWS system of dropping out of high school. So we've convened multiple partners and school districts across the county to develop and implement this system through which middle and high school students are matched with a high quality mentor in one of 2 different programs currently through which they receive the support that they need to get back on track and stay on track to graduation. So that action team has been at work for a number of years now. We have additional action teams that are focused on increasing the FAFSA completion rate, which is really about ensuring that all eligible students across our county that can access the FAFSA and take advantage of all of what gaining access to the FAFSA has to offer get exactly that. We have another team that is focused on creating an online system that allows all of the entities that are performing the ASQ screen for children ages birth to 5, the opportunity to access that screening tool and the results seamlessly online and ensure that young people who need support get that support much more efficiently and effectively. Right now, the referral system is all fax-based, it's all paper-based. So creating an online system will allow all of the entities that are working hard to serve and support these young people who most need help in terms of their kindergarten readiness are able to do that in real time. And they all have real-time access to the same information and data to ensure that those young people get the very best support that they need. Our two newest action teams are teams that, again, grew out of our community's response to the pandemic, and they are focused on increasing digital access for students across Brown County, as well as addressing more recently the childcare crisis that has occurred as a result of many schools across our county, in fact, all of them now going virtual, which again puts added pressure on parents who work to find care for their children during the day. So we know that, as many other people do, parents are faced with some really difficult choices in terms of balancing childcare along with their responsibilities at work. So this childcare team is focused on helping to mitigate some of those really tough choices and ensure that the kids that need childcare get childcare. So it's focused on school-age children and making sure, again, that they get the childcare that they need during the school day or even before and after it, so parents feel that burden a little bit less.
That's great. That's a bunch of different action groups doing a ton of important work across the community in Brown County.
For sure. And like I said, our VISTAs are playing a huge role in convening, facilitating, and support the work of all of those teams. So going back to what I said at the very beginning, we don't just create opportunities for our VISTAs to serve, we create opportunities for them to lead. And that's something that we take very, very seriously. At the end of the day, we want to ensure that our VISTAs not only have an amazing experience while they're with us, that they're set up for success while they're with us to do really great work, provide great leadership to those teams, but that upon their departure from Brown County, they are set up for success in their career and life. So the biggest responsibility that we feel in working with our VISTAs is to ensure that by the time they leave us, they are moving on to something that is most fulfilling for them and gives them the opportunity to pursue their passions and have the greatest amount of success in whatever it is they do. So again, we take that very seriously while they're with us, and this group made it very easy because they were so highly motivated, not just to contribute, but to lead. And I'm really happy to say all of them moved on to really meaningful opportunities after they left us, which again, was our goal all along.
And Spencer, could you tell us about some of the other service your VISTA members have been doing with your community partners to help impact the local community?
So Kyle, I know I've talked a lot about our action teams and how our VISTAs contributed to and led those teams, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention that our VISTAs also contributed to two other really important aspects of our work: the collection and research and analysis of data and community engagement. So one of our VISTAs played a really, really important role in helping us to collect data that we then could conduct research and analysis of to inform the work that we are doing and ultimately the decisions that we make that drive the work of our action teams. So as a collective impact organization, we're committed to leveraging data as much as possible to inform the work that we do and then drive the decisions that we make that ultimately affect the work of our action team. So we had one VISTA who played, again, a key role in helping us to collect, research, and analyze that data and paints a picture of what's going on in our community to inform the work of those action teams. We had another VISTA that played a key role in terms of community engagement. So in order to do the work that we do, we need to engage with a number of different entities across our community: businesses, nonprofits, educational institutions, government agencies, as well as individual community leaders and members. And this VISTA was charged with going out into the community and building relationships with those entities and those people. And she did a wonderful job at that. We're more connected now to more entities and more people than we ever have been as a direct result of her work. So again, as much as the action teams are the ones that are the teams that are driving the on-the-ground work of our organization and the many partners with which we work, the research and analysis of data is critical to the success of our action teams, as is our community engagement, because we wouldn't have organizations and people to work with but for our community engagement efforts, but for us reaching out to building relationships and trust with the many organizations and people with which we work as an organization. So again, the work of our two VISTAs in each of those areas, the collection, research, and analysis of data and community engagement, were absolutely instrumental to our success over the past year as well.
And I know that, for example, one of these collaborations has been with the Oneida Nation. So could you describe how VISTA Service has impacted that partnership?
So like I said, because of the amazing work of our VISTAs, they created new opportunities for us, including an opportunity to partner, work very closely with one of our strongest partners, the Oneida Nation, on doing some process mapping for them in their educational department, if you will. So two of our VISTAs, along with our Director of Collaborative Action, spent almost 3 months working with our partners at the United Nation, doing some critical process mapping for them that was designed to better position them for success in terms of making more efficient and effective how they do what they do in their work. So like I said, this is not an opportunity that would have come our way, but for the work of our VISTAs and the recognition of our partner, in this case, the United Nations, of that work and how they could, in partnering with our staff team, provide a service to Oneida Nation that helped them to advance their own work. So we were really excited about that opportunity, and they did an amazing job in convening, facilitating, and supporting it for the Oneida Nation.
And then thank you so much for talking with us today, Spencer. And we hope you have a great year with your AmeriCorps VISTA members, and good luck with your continued progress moving forward.
Kyle, thanks again for giving me this opportunity.
And thank you so much, Spencer, for the service that Achebe Brown County is doing. And please share congratulations with all your AmeriCorps VISTA members and your staff.
Thanks, Kyle. Again, we're tremendously honored. We know that this award really has to do with our VISTAs. It has very little to do with the staff or the organization. It's really the VISTAs who deserve this honor, and we couldn't have been prouder to have the opportunity to work with these 5 amazing young people. So thank you for recognizing their great service and leadership to our community over the past VISTA term. Kyle, lastly, I just want to offer my sincere thanks directly to the 5 AmeriCorps VISTAs that worked with us over the 2019 to 20 term. So to you, Sarah and Aja and Orpida and Bailey and Kennedy, we are incredibly grateful for the opportunity to have gotten to know you, to work with you, and to truly benefit from everything that you brought to us personally and to our organization, and most importantly, our community over the course of your term. You 5 are amazing, amazing people. We, again, will be forever grateful for your service and leadership to our organization and our community. And this honor is truly about and for you. Congratulations. We're really excited and couldn't be more pleased for you.